In 1957, cartoonist Red Smythe introduced the world to Andy Capp. Capp, a dirty scamp with his hat pulled over his eyes, was intoxicated, lazy, belligerent, confrontational, and abusive. The strip itself is a pun on the local UK pronunciation of handicap. Who better than this misogynistic, classless rube to be the spokesperson for your corn and potato snack? None that we can think of. Today, we taste Andy Capp's hot fries and ask, "You tried that?" You Tried Dat, a snacking podcast. I'm Nick Novak with my pals Chad Hancock,
Howdy.
Nick Geiger,
Nicky Capp right here. How you doing?
and this is the return of Dez's Snacks, a fan of ours who had sent us 6 snacks. The first round, if you listened to last week's episode, didn't go so well, but we have high hopes for this one.
Bit of an understatement.
So, upon doing some research here, I looked into this Andy Capp guy, who I hadn't heard of much before, and we found that his comic strips were just him being a drunk and beating his wife, and it was terrible.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was bizarre when you read them. I remember seeing them in the newspaper when I was a kid, but never really remembering them very much. And then when you said, "Hey, go check these out," I was like, "This is awful."
Yeah.
I sent you some one where it's Cap's wife's like telling him, "Hey, we gotta go," and then the next strip is Cap up in a window, like watching a sexy neighbor, and like supposedly like touching himself or something, and then hurrying downstairs quickly, and that's the entire comic strip.
This makes you yarn for the good old days, right? When there was segregation and comic strips were fucking awful like this. Yeah.
There was one where like that you sent us that he was just standing over his wife, like laying on the ground. It was something like, "The only thing I like is knocking you around," or something like that. And it was like, that's the punchline? That's not even a joke.
Is there any chance at all that these strips are like satire, right? Like some advanced form of like, this is how you should not behave? No? Probably not?
Maybe, but I definitely know like people like my dad, for example, would be laughing all the way home about this domestic abuse and stuff. So I think that.
Well, look. Let's be clear. Domestic abuse is funny. It just needs to be clever. That's all.
Not when a British person does it, is the problem.
Yes, exactly. That's
Right.
the problem.
American
Only funny
domestic
when it's
abuse
in
is much
America.
right.
What comic strips actually are funny? Because I'd say 5% is probably on the high end of like newspaper comic strips that are funny.
Other than Family Circle, you mean?
Other than Family Circle.
I'm assuming. Right. Okay.
I think there's 2 that were funny ever. Calvin and Hobbes, I think, is universally regarded as like the best
Yes.
comic strip. And I also always really loved The Far Side. I think The Far Side was really good. And that's pretty much it. I guess I was kind of into Foxtrot, but when I go back and read those, I'm like, these really weren't that good. And for some reason, I read Doonesbury a lot as a kid, which makes no sense because I didn't understand any of the politics or anything that was going on.
All those
It's like,
Dukakis jokes are really right up your alley, right?
Yeah, like I was like, wait, why is Bill Clinton a waffle? I have no idea. I actually still don't know why. And like, but for some reason I read it. Yeah, that one was.
They said he waffled a lot. That's really all it was. But still.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but
I definitely went through a big Dilbert phase where I liked Dilbert a lot. And again, like all these jokes were about office life, and I was like in high school, so really much of it flew over my head, I think.
Dilbert was funny, but it's a hard read to go back to because it turns out that the guy who made it is like this huge, like misogynist, like ultra right winger, and he's got like really bad politics and stuff. So it's hard to go back and read that.
They need to do an Andy Capp Dilbert crossover. Apparently, they're right up in each other's audiences. I remember loving Garfield as a kid, but I was just like when I was a little kid. Garfield now is, and when you go back and read it, it's like This is not even funny. This is just a joke about a cat who inexplicably likes lasagna. This is not funny at all. But I liked Garfield as a kid, and like you said, Far Side, and you just said it, Calvin Hobbes. I actually have like a lot of
I have the complete set Calvin and Hobbes.
collected Calvin Hobbes books, and my son reads them now, and he loves them.
Yeah, I think a lot of the comics now, maybe it's just because only old people read a newspaper now, but it's still like the old Marmaduke and all this crap. And
For better or worse, that's another really bad one. Where it'd just be like
Mary
1 week it'd be
Worth
funny, and then the next day it'd be like some like Mike dog drowned or whatever. It's just like really bad.
There's constantly drowning dogs in that strip, and you're like, geez.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there were.
Kathy, when she's just shopping a lot. And then the one I didn't get ever was did they have Prince Valiant when you were a kid? Our newspaper ran this thing called Prince Valiant, and it was like an old, like medieval, like swords and sandals type thing, but it was always like 2 giant splash page panels, but it was always like just like as he approached the beast, and then it was just him staring into the middle distance, and it was never any action. I read like 20 minutes of comic. I was like, this dude in like he looked like He-Man, but when he's a prince. He was got that bowl cut, and he was wearing a bunch of frilly clothes. I'm like, attack something! This is terrible.
Yeah, I never understood too the ones that were like serial comics, right? Like Dick Tracy or whatever, where it's
awful,
like 3 panels of stuff. Like, how am I supposed to remember the plot like day to day? Like, I don't even remember like what I had for breakfast yesterday, and I'm supposed to remember like, oh yeah, that's that one. Like, that's the plot that he's in. It's so stupid. Why would anyone read that shit?
You like really want some hard-hitting drama, 3 sentences a day. Yeah. That's all you need of it.
It's so weird. Such a weird thing.
Dick Tracy busts up a heroin ring. Yeah, it's always, well, like I said, that are like those terrible, like there was one called, I want to say it was like either Sally Forth or Mary Worth. I guess I'm confused, but like it would like be like an old lady who's a detective. Like, these are terrible, and she's just having tea half the time and talking to people. Who reads that shit?
The worst part was when Dick Tracy would constantly be drowning dogs, and you're like, I can't follow this.
The other one I was definitely too dumb for as a kid was Non Sequitur. Did you ever read Non Sequitur? It was always just like my stepmom loved it. I remember because it was basically like for like highbrow English major people or whatever, and it was always just so over my head. I think still today.
Speaking of things that are more painful than drowning a dog, Geiger, you once worked as a telemarketer, and that's widely thought of as the worst job. Like, to me at least, the worst possible job to have to work. I feel terrible for anyone who works for these companies. But you did and made some interesting calls.
Yeah, I needed a job real bad in Chicago, and the 2 options were telemarketer or drown dogs. And in the interview, I had to drown 1 dog, and it was just so traumatic I couldn't do it again. So
the 2 options were telemarketer or read 1 Dick Tracy comic. And you were like, well, sign me up to make phone calls.
The interview was follow the plot of Dick Tracy for 1 month, and I was so lost. I think he's undercover. I don't really know what's happening. He went undercover as John from Garfield. It was a real weird crossover. So yeah, I was bartending, and I had met a lady, and that lady eventually became my wife. So it's her fault. No, but I wanted to live in the city. And so I got a job as an educational advisor, which really just means you sell people online education. It's actually not a bad for entry-level sales. It was actually a higher base than normal because you can't technically get bonus for selling school, I guess. But we were just handed a list of names and told to just call them every day and try to get a hold of somebody and set them up. And it was horribly, I won't talk about the name of the company, but I felt ethically compromised. It was terrible. But the worst part about...
Do you know where they got these names from?
Yeah, well, I started to understand that as I think they were one of the folks back in the days of the internet when you would get like fill out this survey and you get a free Red Lobster gift card or something like that. They would get their names from that because it's people who had 0 interest in buying education. They would literally tell me, oh, I just wanted the gift card and stuff like that. And the other thing we would have is like this objection training. So after like a week of being on the phones, they'd say like, what kind of objections did you run into? And some of them are just like, well, I've got a bunch of fake names. And like, well, what do you mean? They're like, oh, they put a purposely fake name in there. And they were like, well, you never know if it's someone's real name or not. Like the only way we were able to get a name struck off the list is if it literally went to a disconnect or we were told put on the do not disturb list. That was the only way you can get rid of them. Like you have to pretend. You never know. Maybe that guy's name, like it might look like Butthead, but maybe it's a real person's name and you don't want to make fun of them, right? So just say it in a way that it's not saying Butthead. Say like Butthead. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. So like... So I'm running through my list, and I just started actually looking forward the most to certain names because there's no way on earth I had to talk to a human at the end of it. And there were some famous ones, Mr. 3000, which I used to just pretend was a supercomputer that just wanted to learn more about human life. There was my favorite name in there was Nips Pancake, it just made me laugh so much to the point where I used to use it as a joke at work at my current job, and we were doing we were doing a podcast at work. Yeah, this is my job, guys. No, we were doing a webinar, and the person wanted to test the webinar software, so they had me log in as a bunch of different people. So I put a bunch of different fake names in, but the last one I used was Nips Pancake. Not realizing
that's so work appropriate,
right? Well, it was just me and this other person. What was not work appropriate was not knowing that it saved it as my name. Therefore, so the next legitimate meeting I dialed into, I'm halfway into it, and I look and see I'm talking, and I look at the side, and I'm like, "Who's Nips? Oh shit!" And I had to I was in the middle of anyway, oh, sorry, my computer's restarting. And I just boiled out of there. I just literally clicked out and there was managers in the call. No one said a word. I was deathly afraid I was going to get fired. But, Nips Pancake. But there was also so, I'd have to say hello, yes, is Mr. or Mrs. Pancake there? With a straight face. And then the best one, I know we're is Mr.
First name Nips?
I'm looking to speak to a Mr. 3000. But the best one was literally just someone just put FFF as their first name and GGG as their last name. And I'm literally looking to my manager. I'm like, how am I supposed to say this name? They're like, just come up with a creative way. I'm like, why are you having me do this? There's no possible way this leads to a sale. So I got on the phone. I'm like, yeah, I would call the line. It would just go to it actually went to some random voicemail. And it was one of those robot voicemails. So I'm like, yes, I'm looking for Mr. Mr. I'm sure credibly are looking into some online education, maybe to come up with a new fucking name. But yeah, it was terrible. I mean, so one of the objections someone came up with was, look, this person's really interested in going back to school, but they just found out they have cancer and they don't know if they're going to be able to afford going to school and being able to do the treatments at the same time, plus of the time commitment. They're going to be really weak. And they literally looked this person in the eye and they're like, you tell her, does she want to sit back and accept death, or does she want to look forward to a 2-hour break from chemo by doing her homework every day? And I'm like, I will never fucking say that to another human being. I don't care if it is Fufka.
That's so bad.
So yeah. I actually sold...
Not even Nips Pancake
deserves
that kind of treatment, and he's a real piece of shit.
Fufka has seen some shit in his life. When Cambodian rebels cut out his tongue, and the only way he's able to pronounce his name is Fufka. But...
Look, I knew Nips Pancake, and I was really happy when he got cancer, but I did not want him to get any secondary education. So.
Yeah. Look, Nips Pancake didn't serve in the army for 15 years not to have you call him Colonel Pancake. But I remember this poor girl, the only person I ever saw, and I remember selling her some insurance or whatever, or not insurance, geez, I don't even know what I was selling her. School, education, supposedly. She was an 18-year-old single mom, and she wanted to open her own bakery. So I sold her on the idea of going to business school. And
hey, I just sold her a life insurance policy. We're selling education, you moron.
Yeah. You know what? We'll take it. Whatever. Just got money? No, but they paraded me around like I was some hero. And then they're like, when you do well here, you get the perks. And they literally handed me one of those fucking wire folder sorters to put on my desk. And I'm like, hey, thanks, bro. I have no fucking folders. Who gives a shit?
What a perk.
Yeah. Oh, hey, here's a perk. Can you get me a new job? So and then they're like, well, and then she'd call me. She's like, I can't afford this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, look, you don't have to do it. The fee is refundable. Don't. And then my manager here's me. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, she doesn't want to go to school. She's like, put me on the phone with her. She goes, what's your relationship with this girl? I'm like, she's a poor broke kid. I sold shitty overpriced education to. It's not, what a relationship. It's like, what do you guys bond over? I'm like, but she has a kid. Like a baby, and she's wants to provide a good foundation for her.
I like pancakes. Her name is Pancake. I think that's.
He's good at counting. His name is Mr. 3000. He always gets software updates. So he's like,
for some reason, I just want to drizzle butter and syrup all over her chest. I don't know why.
He gets in the phone. And he's like, so Nick tells me you don't want to set a good example for your baby. I'm like, what?
Oh, Jesus
and I'm like,
Christ.
This is horrible. So I pretended I had another job lined up. Well, I did have another job. I
just
found another job very quickly.
He turned you. I've got another job.
Hold on. What's that? I held up my fingers to my ears like I was on the phone. Yep. Okay, I'll take
Selling
it.
insurance.
Yep, that's a job came in. Mr. Colonel Pancake is an opening for me in his breakfast restaurant he's opening called International House of Pancakes.
Breakfast Battalion.
So, yeah. I'm joining the Pancake Army. Those fucking waffles are invading again. Oh, yeah. I bolted out of there. It was pretty terrible. But I do, to this day, laugh about FFFGGG and Nips Pancake.
I wonder how Nips is doing now.
Yeah, I heard...
Didn't he change his name to Nips Waffle and become president of the United States in a Doonesbury strip?
Yes. He changed his name and is now known as U.S. President Bill Clinton. All thanks to his secondary education.
Nips a man or a woman?
Hey, I'm Nips Pancake here. Sounds pretty good.
Oh, did Bill Clinton show up on the podcast? Where'd he go?
No, I'm Nips Pancake. Don't you know that?
It's a deep, dark secret, but my wife is Hillary Pancake.
What?
When they got married.
Geiger was Nips a man or a woman?
It was fake. I don't fucking know. You think I talked to somebody? I'm guessing a woman because she had real nice nips, but I could be wrong.
I thought that was her first name.
Yeah, it is. It's an attribute. You had to write down an attribute and then your last name. The form filled out said, pick out an attribute and your favorite breakfast food. I also talked to titty waffles.
Good old mustache bacon.
Good old sweet-ass cornflakes I talked to one time.
Goatee granola.
Goetze was their best attribute.
No, I didn't say goatee. I said goatee. Oh, goats.
Don't look up Goetze, anyone. Don't ever do it. Anyway.
Don't Google that.
Good old tub girl toast.
I'm not going to say the third one. I can't do it.
All right, moving on.
All right. Oh, that's such a great story. I love that story.
Yeah.
But it's
one of my
also
all-time faves.
sad and terrible.
Oh.
Yeah. I got out of there.
It gives me so little sympathy for, like, I mean, on the one hand, I feel bad for, like, telemarketers, but on the other hand, they really should get another job.
All right. Let's eat some snacks, because I guess that's what we're supposed to do on this podcast. So,
all right.
We rate our snacks on a 5-point scale. Hey, love dat, like dat, indifferent to dat, dislike dat, and hate dat. Let's start with Andy Capp's fries, since we did talk about Andy Capp. So these are Andy Capp's hot fries, and it says they are corn and potato snacks, and they're made to look like French fries. Have you had these before? I'm not sure what to expect from these.
Me neither. No, me neither.
I remember seeing them around for a long time, but I don't think I've ever eaten them.
They have two other flavors, cheddar and barbecue. This is the hot. I assume it's going to be spicy. And on the back, he's saying life is better with a side of fries while he's laying on a couch, presumably after he just beat the shit out of his wife. This does seem like the perfect snack for post-domestic abuse relaxation.
These are not in the same ballpark as Blaze. There's definitely there's heat on the end for sure, but the Blaze were really tough to eat.
Ugh.
Chad looks like he put a lit match in his mouth.
Look, all right. Look, to our fans, I really do appreciate you sending us food, but can you stop sending us spicy shit, please?
These are not spicy at all.
There's definitely
all
there's
right.
heat.
Novak, where do you land?
They're not anywhere near the Blaze. There's a little more flavor on there, but the heat, it definitely hits you late, but there's definitely heat there. After I ate 5 or 6 of them, I can feel it at the back of my throat.
I almost wish there was more heat. To me, like, they're not tasty enough to make up for the fact they're not super hot.
They're not salty enough is the issue. If they were much saltier,
Right.
I think it would keep me wanting to. The thing is, they're not. I don't mind hot things if I want to keep going back. Like, there's something part of it that makes me want to keep eating it. And these are hot, but then it's just kind of a plain, like, potato kind of flavors, the rest of it.
They're kind of like a soft. You ever had those
Yes.
veggie straws that you give kids?
Yeah.
They're kind of like a soft veggie straw, but with like some spice on it.
Yeah. All right, Geiger, you're our leadoff man. What do you think of Andy Capp? Actually, there's Andy Capp on the back, sitting on a couch, saying life is better with the side of fries. Just sitting there like an out of work bum.
Yeah, he's got low expectations for his life, and his wife apparently. These are innocuous enough. Like I said, I can now that you've eaten a bunch. Now that I've eaten a bunch, I can. There's a little bit of heat on the back of my tongue, but I feel like they either have to be more flavorful or hotter, and they're neither. It's kind of like almost like a straight Funyun, like not in a ring. I guess I'm dumb. They're not bad. I would munch on them, but there's nothing to keep me like excited about them. I would give them an indifferent. They're fine.
All right, indifferent to start it off. Chad, what do you think?
Okay, they're not as bad as the Blaze for sure. They're not as spicy, but there is that spice there that I don't like. But putting aside the spice, I don't think the flavor is good, and I don't think the texture is good. There's no crisp, there's no crunch like I want from this type of snack, right? Like if you compare this to even like Cheetos or something like that where it's not even that crunchy. These are just sort of like soft, and I feel they're bland. If you take away the spice, these would be nothing. So I don't really understand why these exist at all. And then you put the spice on top of it, just makes me dislike it even more. So I'm gonna go hate that for these two.
All right, an indifferent and a hate. Much closer to Geiger on this one. The heat on this one doesn't bother me. I actually just think if they were saltier, I'd be okay with it. And the saltier, you can even put some more seasoning on it. It's just not seasoned enough. And I could actually see liking them if that was the case. But as it is, there's just not enough flavor. I'm going to have to go indifferent. So 2 indifferents and a hate to start off for Andy Capp. So it might be a rough go for him because we've got a couple other ones that look pretty good. So let's save the chewy one for last so we don't have to get it stuck in our teeth to mix with these other things. And let's go to the Popchips. And this is Popchips Galaxy Puffs aged white cheddar. And these are a Star Wars themed pop chip with BB-8 on the front. And they seemingly have the shapes of BB-8, a Stormtrooper, TIE Fighter, and the Millennium Falcon are the shapes that they show.
And if you look at the back, there's a big question mark that says, can you find the secret shape? So there must be a 5th one in here, which is probably like a lightsaber, but it's going to look like a dick.
Yeah, let's guess. Everyone, before you look, guess at what the shape is. You're guessing lightsaber?
Yeah, I'm going to guess lightsaber.
I mean, these other shapes are pretty intricate. Like a TIE Fighter, that's not like the easiest one to get. I'm trying.
I pulled it out immediately, unless it's like these things don't actually look like it. There's the TIE Fighter. There's the Stormtrooper. What are your guesses?
Trying to think back to Star Wars now. What do you think, Geiger? Can't hear you at all.
I've been on mute this whole time. I'm like, I said Yoda head like 3 times. You guys keep going. All right, Geiger, to you. I'm like,
Yoda head.
I was opening the bag and didn't want to make crinkle sounds.
Head.
God damn it! I think it's a Yoda head.
But I think they're all newer. Oh no, Millennium Falcon is not newer.
Yeah.
I'll go with Chewbacca head.
All right.
So I'm looking at it. I think this is the secret one because this doesn't look like anything else in there. And I think maybe that's a Ewok. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? It's got 2 little ears.
Yeah, honestly, I can't. There's one that's just like a circle, and I can't really tell what it is.
That's the Millennium Falcon,
Oh,
or maybe BB-8. I don't know.
Yeah,
This
I
one's
think I
supposed to
have
be
the one
BB-8.
that's different, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the secret. What do you think that is? It looks like a fucking owl. Is there an owl in Star Wars?
Qui-Gon Owl.
it's this thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like this one.
Yeah. Oh, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What is this thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
No, I think the one that you're holding there, Novak, is actually the bottom half of a broken stormtrooper. If they were really smart, the secret shape would have been like one of those fucking space cows that Luke is drinking blue milk from. That would have been pretty cool. You know what I'm talking about? You seen Last Jedi?
Yeah, the blue milk cows.
Yeah. I'd drink that.
Everyone loves those characters.
the classic character of blue milk cow. Every child's
I think I see
favorite.
some salacious crumbs in the bottom of my bag.
Oh.
Okay. I think this one's shaped like a Nips pancake. All right, Chad, you're leading us off with the Popchips Galaxy Puffs.
Look, anytime you have a snack that we're wondering if it tastes stale, we've been down this road before. It's not good. It should taste fresher, but even if it did, like the flavor is nothing great. This is clearly like I think targeted at kids who have no taste buds. Anybody with a remotely discerning palate would not be interested in these. They're not like out and out offensive, but they're just not particularly good. So these are gonna get a dislike that for me.
All right, they are targeted at kids, but do you think there's any kid who knows as much about Star Wars as you do? Probably not. Here's the biggest problem is that it's aged white cheddar. I don't taste any cheddar flavor at all.
Yeah, none at all. None. I forgot that it was a cheddar flavor.
I think what you said was accurate in that it's aimed at kids who they just want to eat something that's kind of bland. They are not very good. The crunch isn't great. The flavor isn't great. They're not terrible. I could eat them. I ate enough. But yeah, just not that much. Not enough good to even say about them. I'm gonna have to double down on the dislike that. Geiger, do we have an unwelcome visitor?
Unfortunately, we do. Yeah, you guys took your the words out of my mouth. I was thinking like, oh, the kids like these. Like they just taste like a kid's snack, like a crummy little kind of crackery type thing that it's light puffed and they're healthy-ish, so that makes you feel okay because they're 100 calories in the bag. They're just not that great. I was also just a little disappointed in their character selection. I would have liked to see, a Jar Jar Binks in there, or maybe a Boss Nass. What's that?
Yoda head?
A Yoda head. I might have screamed to the heavens several times. Fucking A, I want a Yoda head. No, they're fine. Like I said, they don't taste bad. Like, if that's the only snack I had on a trip or something, they wouldn't be the world's worst way to eat something, but they just don't taste that great. I agree. I don't know even if you had just said they were cheddar and not the fancy aged white cheddar, I would be like, I'm sure. I couldn't have picked it out of a lineup. So I just liked, again, they're not horrible. They're not a flaming pile of dog shit or anything like that, but they're just, I'd give it a dislike that. They're nothing special.
It does seem really stupid to have what's clearly a kid's kind of product with Star Wars characters and shapes and have a flavor of aged white cheddar.
Right. Yeah. Slightly melted camembert. Just say it's fucking. Just say crunchy shapes. That's all you need to say. They'll eat them.
These are so bad that I would not even eat 1/4 portion. Some Unkar Plut humor for you. Huh?
Oh, bang.
I'm killing it with the Star Wars nerds.
You're doing great.
Geiger, you've got a segment lined up for us.
I do.
All right.
All right. So I am bringing back one of my favorite segments we've done before. I'm shaking it up a little bit, and that's the recipe challenge. So Novak, don't despair. I know you don't love these because you're not a guy who loves to cook and you feel like you don't know a lot of recipes, but I changed the format a little bit, and I think it'll do you well. So changing it up this time. So you're not sharing a recipe and going back and forth. You each have 2 recipes that you'll have to identify from the ingredients that I give you. Okay. So I'll start with Chad. I'm going to start reading off ingredients for an appetizer type dish. He needs to, as long as he gets the dish before the end of it, right? He wins that round.
Uh-huh.
And then Novak, you'll have the same opportunity. He doesn't win the round. He'll earn a point.
Sure.
Novak, you'll get the chance to do the same. As long as you get it by the end of it, what the recipe is, you'll get a point. And we'll go back and forth. And if it comes down to a tiebreaker, I have a really large recipe. And that way, and then we'll invert the format to the original way where you will take turns naming ingredients instead of me naming them.
I love how complicated this is.
You like it? I thought I'd put a new twist on an old favorite, okay?
I think all our best segments take longer to explain than to execute.
All right. I still haven't equaled the addendum you put together for the Oreo tournament, but yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, 71 dunks.
Are these recipes on your phone, real quick?
No, nothing's on my phone. My dad's not calling, so we don't have to worry about that. I have them written down on good old-fashioned paper, okay?
Great.
So, Chad, we'll start with you, okay? This is an appetizer-y or first course-y type meal, okay?
And how many ingredients are there total?
There's a bunch. I'm just going to start reading through them, and when you get it, okay?
Oh, okay.
Water.
Cool. Is it water? Wait, do I get unlimited guesses?
You get unlimited guesses. One guess. Yeah, you get unlimited guesses. That's fine. It's not water. No.
Damn.
Salt.
Is it salt water?
All right. Chad gets 1 point. No, I'm kidding. It's not salt water. Pepper.
British one egg.
No. Potatoes.
Okay. Hash browns.
You don't have to make guesses if you don't want. Okay, no. Onion.
Keep going.
Bacon.
Bacon. Is this potato skins?
No. Half and half.
This is like some kind of soup. Potato soup.
Potato skin soup.
No. Butter.
Butter. Fucking hell. What? This is an appetizer?
I think you'll get it with the last ingredient if that helps.
Okay.
Should I just wait? Clams.
Okay. Is it clam chowder?
You got it. All right. Clam chowder. All right. So point to Chad.
Dough.
I should note I got most of these from like all recipes, so they're kind of a standard-ish type recipe for these things. All right, Novak, you're kind of preamble to a main course dish.
I'm
Ready?
prepared to look like an asshole. I'm totally ready.
French onion dip.
French onion dip. This is a part of a recipe.
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
You really broke this down to its like core ingredient.
Chips.
Is it chips and dip?
You got it.
What the fuck?
Yep, you got it. Chips and dip. See, Novak, you can hang with this one. You'll be
I'm
fine.
getting railroaded here.
All right. All right, here we go. Chad, back to you for an equally hard one. All right.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
All-purpose flour.
Okay. Wait, is this an entree?
This is the main dish. Yep.
Main dish. Let's go with cake.
Nope. Salt.
No, it was one egg.
Salt. Meatloaf.
Nope. Pepper.
Peppery meatloaf.
Ding, ding, ding. No. Chicken broth.
Chicken broth. This will be chicken noodle soup.
No. Butter.
Pass.
Milk.
Okay, pass.
Cooked chicken.
Cooked chicken. Is this like matzo ball soup or something?
Nope. Peas.
Peas. Is this like a chicken casserole?
Not quite. Carrots.
Okay. Carrots. Okay. How many more ingredients?
Only 2.
Okay.
Potatoes.
And give me the last one.
Pie pastry.
Chicken pot pie.
You got it. All right. Well played so far, gentlemen. All right.
I hope mine's a lot like the last one.
Novak. The main course. Ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. Bread.
Sandwich?
What kind?
Turkey?
No.
Okay, give me another one. Ham?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter and jelly.
You got it. All right, nice job, Novak.
I like
You're really good at these recipe challenges. All right.
Differentiation here in our game.
I told you I thought this new format would help you out a little bit. Ooh. All right. So we're going to the tiebreaker round.
All right.
Such a fucking asshole, Geiger. I love
it. All right. So here's the deal. I have 2 recipes that have a ton of ingredients in them, okay? I'll let you guys pick which one we want to do, okay? Because I want to make sure that you both know what each one is, all right? And then you're going to take turns telling me ingredients that are what in it. And the first one to miss one loses, okay?
Yes.
Your options are Spanish paella.
Let's change up the rules mid-game.
Yep. Yeah, it's real hard to figure out how to shout in recipe ingredients. Spanish paella and chicken mole. Which one would you rather do, guys?
Well, considering there's a word in each one I don't know.
I thought I would catch you in what, chicken? You don't know what that means?
I don't know what mole means.
All right.
You can pick Novak.
Mole.
All right. Chicken mole it is.
Chicken.
All right. Chicken is in there, yes. Chad?
I think I know what chicken mole is. So I will say it has flour.
That didn't take long. Nope. No.
I thought it was like a breaded. It's not. Isn't it like some kind of breaded?
No, it's like chicken. It's like a chocolate. It's like that Mexican chocolate like sauce and yeah. Well, all right. There's a bunch of other stuff in it. Novak, you've proven to be the clear champion of the recipe challenge. Way to hack through that tournament. What's that?
Water.
What?
I think I was pretty much. It was set up to go to the bonus round, obviously.
It was,
but then it was also set up for me to lose the bonus round. So
I
didn't pull off the upset.
I had to make it fair in the end, but I didn't know that you didn't know either one of those things. I thought those are 2 dishes that you guys were familiar with. So paella is like a rice and seafood dish. It's got like shrimp and clams.
Yeah, I would have done better. I would have done better with the paella.
So you were of the mind to give me peanut butter and jelly, but then thought I would know what chicken mole was.
I mean, I thought you'd been to a restaurant and seen chicken mole in the menu. It doesn't mean you know all the ingredients. Look, I don't know what you won the fucking thing. I don't know what you're bitching, but so real quickly, you had cloves, chicken, vegetable oil, bay leaf, pepper, cayenne pepper, paprika, cinnamon, onion, garlic, tomatoes, brown sugar, chicken broth, chocolate, raisins, and sesame seeds. So you're welcome, everyone. You can go home and make it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
All right.
Good job.
Well, that was the recipe challenge.
All right. Now give us the recipe for the 1 egg.
All right. You take 3 eggs. Oh, shit. I fucked it up already.
You take as many eggs as there are letters in FFF's first name.
You make some pancakes, drizzle them in syrup, butter, and nips, and then you serve them to your guests.
All right, let's finish this up. We've got 2 snacks that will be easily beaten with even an average score. And we've got a cowtail. I see these cowtails at the stores before, and for some reason they're made by a company called Goetze, which fits right along with the.
That
Holy
works out great.
shit! I can't believe that.
It's like it was meant to
These
be.
are Goetze's vanilla cowtails. I've seen chocolate cowtails too. They're a chewy caramel with a cream center, and they're like straw shaped. I don't know what else to describe it as, but it kind of looks like a Tootsie Roll, like a very long Tootsie Roll.
I've definitely seen these before, but I've never tried them. It smells pretty sweet when you open it up.
I'm also going to assume it's pronounced Goetze's because their website is www.getsthefacts.com, not goatseethefacts.com. Maybe it's Goatse the Facts. I don't know. I've goatseed plenty, but never for the facts. That's for sure.
So bites off easier than I expected. I expected it to be like a harder chew to pull it off.
Yeah, this is not a standard like sticky hard caramel.
Really?
Oh,
So the middle, what do you think that? What's that cream center in the middle remind you of?
Kind of like Oreo cream a little bit.
Yeah, almost like it's like almost like a denser whipped. It tastes like whipped cream to me, but it's obviously denser.
It's definitely like the inside has an even cooler, like a coolness to it on your tongue.
Sort of dissolves. The inside like dissolves in your tongue, but then you're left with this like chewy caramel that I'm not sure I'm loving.
Yeah, you really shit on the caramel whenever we have it.
I mean,
the other cow caramel, the black cow, you hated that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like I like some caramel stuff, but I don't know. Sometimes it can just be like a little too much.
I thought your main problem with caramel was getting stuck in your tongue, which this isn't the problem with this, I would assume. I mean, stuck in your tongue, stuck in your teeth. Get stuck all over your tongue. FFF.
All right, I'll start us off. I like this. I think the caramel tastes good, and that center is just the right combination for that caramel. I like it more than I thought I would, actually. I've seen the chocolate one in the store. I don't think I'd like it if it was chocolate. I think vanilla is the right fit for this caramel. It's not as chewy of a caramel, like I said, but it does still taste very good. I'm going to give this a very strong like that. I enjoy the cowtail. Geiger?
Yeah, I like this better than I thought. I don't love caramel as a flavor either. And I really don't love like the sticky caramels that get stuck in your teeth. This really doesn't. I mean, it gets stuck out there a little bit, but it's not too bad. The filling almost, like we've said, kind of Oreo creamish. It's a little like more whipped than that. It's almost like when you eat like a custard filled donut, not custard, not the yellowy kind, but the Bavarian cream donuts where they have like the white whipped frosting in the middle. It kind of tastes like that frosting to me. This is good. It makes me want to eat the chocolate version even more. I think I'd like that a lot better. But it verges on being too sweet. But I would still say this is a decent like that. This is tasty. I didn't think I was going to love it that much just because of my feelings toward caramel in general, but this is pretty good.
All right. Unfortunately, there's a knock at the door, and I'm not sure Chad's going to be answering it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Fuck this. Something about this mix just doesn't come out right. I like the cream on the inside well enough, but once that's gone and I'm left with the outside, I'm not really digging the flavor of this whole outside thing. And the consistency isn't really something that I enjoy. I'm actually dragging this down to a very mild dislike. It's the best thing we tried today, but I don't even like it enough to finish this one, so I can't even give it an indifferent.
All right, so still the Cowtails is the clear winner because of the poor ratings of the other two. So we do slightly overall recommend trying out the Cowtails. It is the winner for today, and we want to again thank our fan Des for sending us these snacks. It means a ton when the listeners want to get involved, and it's more fun for us to talk with the listeners and get stuff from them that we can try out, stuff they want to see us eat. And I know everyone just sits back and thinks about us eating stuff, and they're like, I really have to see these guys eat these snacks. It would really make my day if I knew that they were eating things. So, Geiger, where should they contact us if they really just say, that's it, I'm sending them the food, I've got to know what they think?
Well, you can, especially your Des, you can contact my sisters and get my address, so you can just creepily lounge outside my window and watch me actually eat the food, like Novak said. If that's really what's important to you, I won't call the cops. Just be polite. Don't bother my family. Just sit outside and stare through the window. Maybe press your face up against it like a hungry orphan and just watch me eat your snacks and immediately talk shit about them. But for real, if you'd like to give us some suggestions, feedback, comments, questions, again, that we really do appreciate everyone that does listen. I know we joke how we have no listeners, but the listeners we have are very ardent about it. So we appreciate that. You can reach us on Facebook, the Facebook group. We are on Stitcher, we are on SoundCloud, Instagram, YouTube, hashtag You Tried Dat on Twitter, and you can also email us directly at youtrydat@gmail.com. And like I said, with any suggestions, comments, feedback, snacks you'd like us to try, we're more than willing to give things a shot, especially if we know that it's something that interests you.
All right. Geiger, quick question.
Uh-huh.
You have to here's a little choice for you.
Yeah.
You have to work for 1 year at that telemarketing company. All right, 1 full year. And you're going to make a very low salary. So this
sounds
is
great. I'm in.
And then after that, you can go on and live your life as normal. However, your other choice is to tomorrow change your legal name to Nips Pancake.
Yeah.
And you must live the rest of your life as Nips Pancake. If people try to call you Nick Geiger, you correct them and say, never call me that again. And your people at work will refer to you that, your family, everyone knows you as Nips Pancake.
And the only upside is I don't have to work that job?
You have to work that job for a year, which would be miserable. Really would be a miserable year.
For sure.
And so you're losing out on a bunch of dough, too.
Yeah.
Because you roll in the dough right now.
Probably not that much. But does my wife have to change her name to Mrs. Pancake, or can she keep my old last name?
She has to become P-Nips Pancake.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So what you're saying is I'm going to be divorced because
Princess Nips Pancake.
Right, P-Nips. That's what you meant. So, like both scenarios, though, I assume I can't tell everyone why I'm changing my name, right?
Yes.
So I'll just appear crazy. Right. So I'm going to go to my beloved wife and kids and tell them, look, baby, I love you so much. Your name's now P-Nips Pancake. Is that cool? And she'll be like, why? I'm like, it's my dream to be named known as Nips Pancake.
She doesn't have to change her name.
Okay. Hey. I think I would be so either way, I'm losing my current job because there's no way my job will be waiting for me if I'm like, yo, hey, man, I really got to take a year off to go work this shitty job for no reason. I'll be right back, though. Cool. So I'm losing the job.
No, that's not part of that's not an option.
No. Okay, if they're not going to fire me, I'll just stick it out for a year. The other crappy part about that job, you had to work Saturdays twice a month, too. You had to sit there on a Saturday and call somebody that doesn't want to be bothered to hear all about school that they can't afford. It's great.
All right. Well, Chad, Nips Pancake or no?
Of course not. That's insane. What kind of idiot would take that choice?
What if, Novak, you, instead of Nips Pancake, you had to change your name to and like, you're a teacher, so any student that addressed you had to say, Mr. G. And they had to say it like that?
Yeah, I'd take that. That's not a bad name.
Now, if the choice was that I got to change my name to Nips Waffle and become president in a comic strip, then I might get on board there.
You want to be president in a comic strip, not the actual president? If I could be the star of a comic strip that equals no money for me whatsoever, yeah, no, I'd do it.
All right. Well, that's
All
an
right.
awkward spot to end on, so let's end it. That'll do it for this time, but we'll be back next time. And soon we will be having a Girl Scout official ranking where we'll be trying every Girl Scout cookie. And who better to rank Girl Scout cookies than a bunch of totally inappropriate jackasses? We'll be ranking the Girl Scout cookies, and we all have daughters, so it's okay we make the jokes because we have daughters.
Some of my best friends are Girl Scouts.
Yep. Not all Girl Scouts.
All right, so we'll see you next time when we'll be trying out 3 brand new snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.